Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today by one of my absolute favorite content creators in Marvel Snap. Regis, I am a legitimate fan of yours, and it is about damn time. We had you back on the Snapchat. How are you, my man?
Hey, thanks, man. I'm doing good. I'm a fan of yours too. I think you might. Well, don't tell anybody else, but you might be my favorite Marvel Snap YouTuber. Except for
you know
myself,
what's crazy?
Obviously.
You're
like,
my
I'm
favorite
obviously
Marvel
number
Snap
one.
YouTuber.
Yeah, we make a good pair then, I guess. That's nice.
I think so. I think so. Listen, man, I think for the longest time, you have been producing some of the absolute best content in Marvel Snap. Not just the quality of the decks, the quality of the presentation. I love your commentary. I love the way you incorporate losses, not only just for entertainment, but for like the actual educational factor. I like the way you do your content. But you added a new thing to your repertoire this weekend.
Oh.
You casted for the first time. You hosted the opening ceremonies of the Golden Gauntlet, and I watched. You did a fantastic job. How was that as a first-time experience?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was actually really fun. I've been doing this whole job for like 10 years now, more than 10 years, and I've never actually like casted a esports event of any kind, like a competitive event. I've done a few random little hosting things here and there, but so I was like actually legit nervous despite doing this for a long time, or at least I started nervous, but once I got into it, it was actually pretty easy. But it was awesome. I mean, it was like the world finals or whatever, so pretty big. It felt like a cool moment to join in and be a part of the fun, and I think it went fairly well. It seemed like the reception was pretty decent. My co-caster, Not My Dance, was awesome, helped me out a lot. Go check him out on YouTube too. He's got a cool channel. But yeah, it was great. I think it was a fun event, and saw some really cool Marvel Snap action too.
Yeah, not only was it a fun event, but it was also like a cool event to watch. And like you saw like a lot of very interesting decks doing well. Some of the ones that people would have expected to like crush the event didn't necessarily do that. We did get some move into the top 8 and top 4 and stuff like that. But the eventual winner might have been something that surprised a lot of people, right? You get a Cerebro deck closing it out as a C3. Like, that's absolutely nuts. Not even like C4, utilizing the likes of like, Shadow King or anything. It was C3 that ended up taking it. I spoiled, my apologies, but I'm sure you've already seen it posted absolutely everywhere. But I love those types of events because like the last prior one, you had a Khonshu deck, like literally borderline a budget Khonshu deck. Was able to kind of achieve victory, and it goes to show you what a very talented pilot can do with pretty much any deck. So what I think I'm going to do is for the next Golden Gauntlet, I'm going to take the Marvel Snap starter deck, the one with like Hulk, Abomination, and Iron Man. I'm going to take it to number 1.
You could do it. I think if anybody could do it, you could stumble your way to victory somehow. Just like good luck, just location rolls and randomness. Yeah. It's funny, I played a Cerebro 3 deck this week for a video, and I was like, I hate Cerebro 3. This is the worst experience I've ever had. I hate this deck. I was just really crapping on it, and then it went on to win the world championship. I was like, oh, I look like an idiot right now. I hate this, and then it just went on to win. It was like a better version than what I played, so I'll blame
Every
that,
time I play Cerebro, here's my experience, right? And this is pretty much everyone's experience. It's like, all right, I got Cerebro 2, let's do it. Third location after they snap, it's Monster Island. Cool. Okay. GG's, I guess. You know what I mean?
It's like Dexter like seems to love it. He's just like always playing Cerebro. I hate it every time. It's never fun. It just never works. I guess I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. It's just not my style.
I'll be talking to like Dexter, and we'll be talking about Dex or whatever, and he'll be like, "Oh, you should try like C7." I was like, "No, I shouldn't." Like he'll throw out something so random. Like oh man, you're right. Like there's connoisseurs of Cerebro, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah, and the videos do terrible. Every time I post a Cerebro video, it does awful. I have to hide the fact that it's the Cerebro video in the thumbnail. Like I used to always put the helmet on characters, but then the views would just tank. So now I don't do that anymore. Like you can kind of get context clues usually, but it has to be a surprise or nobody will click the video. So I don't know if we're alone. I think everybody hates Cerebro except Dex.
That's kind of funny because my views have just tanked all across the board anyway. Whether it's Cerebro or not, the views are just gone. Regis. The views are just gone.
I've done a little better this last month or two. I was like in August or like early September, I was like, oh boy, this is getting bad. But it got a little better. So maybe things are turning around. There's hope.
I feel like the Kid Omega situation like completely like butchered views, like so bad. And it felt like, I guess, with the cadence of the limited time game modes, and honestly, give Second Dinner credit, the generosity of the limited time game modes as well. I think that has gone a long way to kind of better the general consensus around Marvel Snap. And they also had the opportunity to, they had like the login bonus. They gave away like a pack for Series 4 or 5. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Series 4 pack, stuff like that. All those small things add up to make people feel more confident in your game and more happy with your game. And at the end of the day, Marvel Snap has a reputation for having a bad economy, an anti-player economy, and all that stuff. You're not going to win that with advertisements. You're going to win that with word of mouth. And continuing along this path where you are improving the sentiment of all the players and giving them a reason to log in every single day it's going to take time, but this is where you start gaining traction back.
Yeah, that's actually a really good insight. You can't brute force advertise your way back into people's hearts. You know, you have to get a trusted source to kind of verify it. I see that in the YouTube comments all the time, like, "Hey Regis, is it a good time to come back to Marvel Snap?" And I'm like, it's probably the best it's been ever, maybe, but it's still not necessarily perfect yet. It's like I kind of hedge the recommendation, but I do think more people are coming back. I have a really weird anecdotal way to know that. It's because, like some people have noticed I've lost a lot of weight in the last like year and a half or so. And I've got a lot of comments lately that are like, "Regis, I haven't watched one of your videos in a while. You look so much skinnier than the last time I was here." And it's like, those are people who used to watch me a year and a half ago or whatever and are now coming back to the game. So I think they're doing an okay job of like re-engaging some of those lapsed Marvel Snap players who gave up long ago, which is a good sign, I guess. I'm sort of hopeful more than I've been in a long time.
I wasn't going to do this live on the podcast, but I will say you do look like an absolute stud muffin. I got to tell
you. Thanks.
You do look phenomenal.
Tried.
So congratulations on all the
thanks.
success you've had doing that.
I was trying to keep up with you, man. Like, you look great. Like, we got the glasses thing going. Like, we're just like the handsome studs now.
That's right. We're just the handsome stud muffins. This is now the stud muffin chat cast. I don't know. That was on the spot. But
the stud chat, yeah.
The stud chat. That's right. That's right. So I still got some work to do, though. Still some work to do. But I appreciate that, man. But listen, all I want to say, though, is that it felt great to see you in a casting role. I think that you're absolutely one of the leaders of the Marvel Snap community. I think you're one of the leaders of the content creator community. I think you're one of the leaders of the card gaming community. And for Marvel Snap to recognize the value you bring to an event like that by having you kind of be one of the hosts on the onset there, I think it's rightfully deserved. And I'm glad that they recognize that Regis was a guy to open that show to showcase how far these events have gone. So, my man, I hope to see yet another one. And hopefully, maybe one day, we can get you cast in the grand finals or something awesome. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, I want to do it with you, man. Like, we can team up. Alex and Regis casting the world champion. Can you imagine? That'd be sick, dude. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun. But it is a great time to be a Marvel Snap player because they have done their best to change a couple cards that have been potentially problematic. So Regis, we're going to get started here with the OTA that dropped here. And we're going to see here, we got a couple tops to talk about. We're going to be talking about the latest OTA. We're going to be going through the review of all the cards that released last week. We're going to talk about Ezekiel Sims. We're going to talk about Cameleon. Cameleon should have been on the topic list. I forgot, and Regis was kind enough to remind me that card does actually exist and is coming out tomorrow if you're watching this on Monday. And we're also going to do the Snapchat mailbag. But Regis, in the meantime, we had a pretty juicy OTA, starting with Debris. Debris being changed to a 3/7 that on reveal add a rock to each other location. What are your thoughts around the change to Debris?
Yeah, notably not for both players anymore. So killing the clog aspect of this card. But I actually think this is kind of cool. Number one, I did hate playing against like full-on clog decks. It always felt frustrating to lose your spots, but like decent stat, well, not good stat line in the base,
stats,
right?
Yeah.
But I think the like little rock thing, and just like we saw with Rhino as well, I think the rocks are a cool little design space. You got stuff like Merlin cards, you can polymorph the rocks. You got stuff like Patriot where you can buff the rocks. It's a downside that you can kind of spin into an upside in certain decks. I was even thinking about like, Zoo decks with Kazar. Like, hey man, there's something here with these rocks. So I actually like both Debris and Rhino, and I want to make what I'm calling a Dwayne Johnson the Rock deck, where we're gonna put all these together, but I haven't gotten around to it just yet. Moleman's gonna be in the mix too.
Mole Man. You know what's funny? So Disney Plus just added Fantastic Four to it, and I've never watched it. And my wife and I, we got through about the first 10 minutes of it before all the kids woke up, and then we had to it takes us like 4 months to watch any movie. And right at the start of it, it actually like shouts out like Mole Man and like Mad Thinker. I'm like, I know that. It was like, you know that meme with like the Leonardo DiCaprio where he's like this? That was literally me watching the intro to that movie. So yeah, but anyways, to kind of go off what you said with Debris, I agree 100%. And Merlin's one of my favorite cards in Snap. I think it's easily one of the absolute best cards in the game that it doesn't get the respect like it's one of the best cards in the game. Like I think everyone knows it's like really, really good. But the extent of which it is so amazing, I don't think people really vocalize. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He's, I think, crazy strong and actually just really fun. Like, I think he's just cool. Like, every turn being a little different and having different things to do. And Polymorph is so random and chaotic as well. And the location change is random and chaotic. Like, that's the style of card I freaking love. So I'm all in on Merlin, too.
And I'm just going to, once again, I'm just going to do a little tinfoil hat thing here. I'm just going to also say that also removing the clog element of Debris leaves a little additional space open for move. Might be incentivized to do that this season. I don't know. But anyways.
I feel you. A lot of move cards. Sure. We got some move buffs and changes. And hey, what do you know? Look at that.
We got another buff. It's Fanfei. Now a 4/4, so a slight decrease on power, but now it says activate. Give your other cards here +1 power and move them to the right. A very similar effect, however, now providing additional power. Regis, what are your thoughts on Fanfei?
You know, I haven't played this yet, and I really haven't even thought about it yet, and I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about it. So maybe
same here. That's why I pitched it to you right off the rip.
Maybe that's
Look at my green border, bro. I haven't even split this.
It matches, though. It matches her outfit well, so that's cool. I guess, you know, like, theoretically, that +1 power can, like, kind of scale up your Human Torch a little faster or something, but I feel like this is still going to get left out. It's just, like, weaving in a 4-cost play into move decks feels so hard to do when you're, like, trying to get all those other moving pieces together.
Yeah, realistic. I saw what you did there. Realistically, let's get to a much more juicy one. This is kind of funny. I don't know if they felt like they had to do this, but buffing Hydra Stomper to a 3/3, a card that reads ongoing +1 power for each time one of your cards move this game. I'm going to suggest there's a lot of movement happening right now, and Hydra Stomper's doing pretty good given what he's the decks he's in right now. Did he need a power buff?
This one really stunned me because it's like, no, I don't think so. Like, already scaled well. We'd already seen him like competing really well too in tournaments and stuff. And like, you're getting so many cards that are going to make him naturally better anyway. Like, we're going to look at Ezekiel Sims later, who I think is a like crazy good fit for this. Even Spider-Punk and stuff too, right? All those little incremental pieces. So this one felt, you know, you kind of did your little conspiracy spiel there. Like, I think are they juicing up all the move cards? This is the one that felt like a little suspicious there for me, where I'm like, this didn't really need the help. This was just like that extra nudge where they're like, let's make sure all the stuff we're selling this month actually gets there. Because it's like, why else does this need that extra +1? It's already pretty great.
Buddy, just like literally 24 hours after the launch of the first new the new season comes, 24 hours in, hot location, Aunt May's. I'm like, okay, bro. Like, I see you guys. I see what you're doing there. If you want to fast track to Infinite, buy the season pass. Buy in, baby, and then use Aunt May's to get all these free procs. Let's go. You know what I mean? Oh, Human Torch doesn't matter. You just bounce around everywhere. Oh, yeah. Let me just say that it would appear that they took very good care of the move meta going into this particular season. But hold on. There's a card that has not seen much play, is a move card, and I'm going to tell you, no conspiracy here, I'm glad this thing got buffed. Vision turns into a 5/9. This is a card I've always loved, and it's not getting the love it deserves. You remember when we used to even play Vision in like Shuri-based decks and stuff like that? Like, remember those good old days where that was how you put up power? Is Vision back?
I think so, actually. I don't even know. It's weird. I feel like right before the buff, he was actually already coming back a little bit in those like Legion, Storm, War Machine decks as like an option for those decks to have a little more flexibility. And then he also got a little buff. So I don't know if it's going to work beyond that exact deck anywhere else, but I think maybe even I heard Dexter was playing it in that list and seemed to be doing really well. I saw this pop up on C9. Of course, he's going to go to C9 and we're going to he's going to make C9 the best deck of the game. We're going to be miserable forever. We can't have any fun. So, anyway, I think Vision's actually kind of solid at 5'9". Yeah, it's intriguing.
It absolutely is. And this is like one of those examples of like a borderline vanilla card that like all the combo centric stuff kind of like gets lost in the mix. And like, I love this. I love a card like this. It almost reminds me, okay, so this is a little bit of a tangent, but I've been playing a lot of Riftbound lately, right? The League of Legends card game, which I actually really enjoy. It's a lot of fun. I love all card games. Riftbound, I think, has a lot of potential. And I've even been debating about like, do some content and stuff like that around it. I'm going to be hosting a bunch of like local events in the Toronto area. Oh, by the way, people in Toronto, stay tuned. I'm going to be posting some stuff about some local events for League. Yeah, not even like sponsored stuff. There's a game store I love working with, a game store that I like going to. And I'm like, hey, like I like this game. Can we do some community stuff, like actual in-person review stuff? So I got that stuff coming. But that's a whole other conversation. Why I bring it up with Vision is because one of my favorite parts about new games is that like they don't become insanely combo centric yet. The cards are relatively straightforward. Do you remember old school Hearthstone where like playing a Yeti was an actual good play? You know what I mean? Like there was something beautiful about like when the game is more simplistic and it's more about like just the macro management of your cards and your pieces. And I feel like Vision is that. Whereas like now, instead of getting something like Vision, we get something like Man Spider. It gets to like 206 power. And it's like, what are we even doing anymore? There's something beautiful about a 5'9" that just moves. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I miss about games. Because as they go on in time, it's like the designers are like, we got to add more sauce. We got to add more sauce. It's like, we just kind of want something fun and interesting. And I think Vision brings me back to the good old days of Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I feel you. Number one, don't besmirch my good Man Spider. Okay, I love Man Spider. He's immune to your criticisms here, although they're valid. But I do feel you, like the purity of it, right? Like it just feels elegant and simple, and like still honestly really interesting, simple design. As far as like it's really important to Marvel Snap to be able to move and redistribute power, but it's like so pure and graceful. And every card today has like 3 or 4 sentences of text and. You're right that it's like design creep almost as much as power creep because you got to get the new exciting thing to sell to people, right? But I wish there were better ways to recapture those feelings. That's why I think a lot of people crave like a draft mode, because I think you'd have a lower synergy, lower combo kind of meta, and it would be more about just like numbers and simplicity and like good cards. Generic stuff like Vision would be a star in a like draft mode, right? Because he's just like good. And I was looking to it like 5 drops. He's like the 3rd biggest 5 drop now. It's only Agamotto and Red Skull. I mean, some like Gamora or Black Panther, can get bigger, but like he's actually pretty big for a 5 drop, which is cool. So yeah, and also the character is just like an iconic Marvel character too. Like, one of the few characters I knew before the Marvel movies, or certainly before playing Marvel Snap, right? Like I just knew this character. So always nice when they get a little love.
One of my kids' favorite scenes, because I show them like select snippets from like Marvel movies and stuff, is the one where Vision is born from that Ultron casket. And my kids love it because my kids, they love Mjolnir, they love Thor. And obviously, and this is a very minor spoiler, so earmuffs if you don't want to hear this. This is very minor, but there is a moment in the Age of Ultron where Vision picks up Mjolnir, right? To prove that he's pure of heart, right?
Yeah,
and my kids, like, they're like, whoa. Oh, like they love it. They go nuts for it, right? Which is funny. So, but yeah, like I'm all for Vision getting some love here. As there's another card.
Just real quick, you're giving spoiler alert warnings for like a 12-year-old movie or something. I don't even know when that came out, but it's been forever ago.
I think it's still fair.
Yourself. You could lift Mjolnir because you are pure of heart, giving a spoiler alert for a 12-year-old most popular movie in the world.
You know what? Actually, I have a Mjolnir.
Oh, really?
I have like a giant Mjolnir. It's too far. I would have to get up to go get it, but I have a pretty big Mjolnir, and it does like sound effects and everything. That's maybe a toy for another time. But yeah, listen, you got it. You got to earmuffs the spoilers.
10-year-old spoiler alert there, dude. That's you're pure of heart. That's
Thank you.
Impressive.
I appreciate it. The one thing that's like, okay, so my kids love Marvel movies. I know this is a bit of a tangent, and so like we've been watching like select parts of them, like when Iron Man like finalizes his suit and he flies it for the first time. The kids eating the ice cream and the Ferris wheel and stuff. My kids love all those things, but I have to learn like what they can watch and what they can't. So my kids love Deadpool as well, and they keep saying like they keep saying they want to see the bye part, which is like they're referring to the NSYNC song. I'm like, my wife's like going to put it on YouTube. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he like takes Wolverine's like skeleton and like beats
Yeah.
people to death with it or something. Like, it is not a
Yeah.
child-friendly movie. I'm like, do not pull up YouTube videos on the Deadpool movie. And she's like, okay, I won't do that then. I'm like,
I'm
yes,
trying to
don't
think-
do that.
I'm trying to think of a single scene in Deadpool that's appropriate for children, and nothing's coming to mind. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. How
So
old
I think
they
we
are
might have
either,
to
so-
pass on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
tough.
awesome movie, and I'm hoping to provide a review of the Fantastic Four when I finish it in 2 months' time. But what I was going to do, we're
the
talking about
exact
Pure
same,
of
by
Heart.
the way.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't watched it yet, but we're planning to.
Talk about Pure of Heart. Regis, I'm going to give you the floor on this one. Read out this card. This absolute beauty.
M'Baku is now a 1/3. At the end of the game, this jumps from your deck to your lowest power location that isn't full. I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot that he's lowest power location still. They changed that a while ago. I forgot. I just played this card this week.
If you would have asked me, I would have forgot that too.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I did a whole video and didn't remember. I don't think it came up because I was usually filling locations or whatever, but man. Yeah, that's why I played C3, right? I tried to play this with Lockjaw, which was pretty fun. It was cool, but just didn't do that well for me.
Is this an
M'Baku
Airsham
is-
buff?
Yeah, I think somebody played it in Airsham in the Golden Gauntlet, like a serious competitive player, I think.
Nice.
Which makes sense if your deck's that deep. Like he's a free 3 power, you know, that can add up. So
I love
I think
M'Baku,
it's
and
cool.
this had to happen eventually.
Yeah. Should he ever go to hand or only deck?
You know what? That's a good question. I wonder if M'Baku would be absolutely cracked if it was from hand. I think it would be, wouldn't it?
Probably as a 1/3 would be a little cracked, yeah. Maybe as a 1/2, I think you could do it.
But you know what? I'm at a point in my Marvel Snap career. If you're gonna allow the game to get broken by M'Baku, I'm here for it. If you guys want to buff that and M'Baku breaks the game, that's fine. We'll take that risk. Now, I have some additional context about the Misery change. Misery going down to a 5/8. That would have surprised a whole lot of people. Regis, were you surprised?
Not surprised necessarily, no. I mean, I see her a lot. It's good with Hood. I also wasn't stressed about Misery, I guess, either necessarily though, so I was kind of neutral, I suppose.
Oh, thanks for ruining my epic moment. You're supposed to be like, yeah, I was surprised, Alex. I had no idea that Misery was. There's no way I would have predicted this. And I'd be like, well, I got news for you because I got some inside baseball. So I have a little fun story about how I knew this Misery change was coming. So, and this has been like months in the works, I think. And it's been something that's so when I was at PAX, we did the PAX West meetup in Seattle, where a whole bunch of people that play Snap and developers were there. And I actually was kind of wandering around, and Glenn was speaking with, I believe, Gregor, actually, and who's a fellow content creator and streamer. And they were discussing some cards that they think might be really strong. And Glenn off just the cuff said, I think Misery is probably too strong. We don't get complaints about it, but I think Misery is probably a nerf candidate. And I was like, yo, I'm like, really, Misery? He's like, yeah, I think that card's really good. And I was thinking to myself, wow, Glenn thinks Misery deserves a nerf. And then I remember, I didn't say that out loud because I don't want to, tip my hand at, having all this insider information. But, I was out there and I was, playing. I was like, man, Misery is really damn good. And then, shortly after, the Victoria hand deck started, really popping off. I was like, Glenn's a mastermind. I think Glenn actually low-key has, how authors have a pen name? He must be out there somewhere, just feeding meta decks in. He's like, I want to nerf Misery. And he's like, I'm going to make a deck that's just so cracked. And he just feeds it in as some random gamer on Reddit. And then it's like, now I can nerf Misery. And he does it. That's my take.
What if I'm secretly Glenn Jones?
It's possible. Maybe you are. Maybe you are.
Like a Mission Impossible mask I put on.
It's like one of those high-tech ones, like those holographic masks.
Yeah. No, that's. Misery's good. Sorry I ruined your moment. I get the OTA notes early now, so I knew, I guess, a few days in advance, but you knew months in advance. You're really cool.
That's right. I was on top of it, but I had legit, you had to be there to know. You know what I mean? This is me showcasing. I don't know how to spell the word cosmic. Cosmic Ghost Rider going down to a 5/6. We're gonna try and get through the OTA notes a little faster. We only have one more card after this, anyways, but. Regis, what are your thoughts on the Cosmic Ghost Rider?
Yeah, totally good little tiny change to a card that was probably showing up too much, I think, and maybe frustrating people a little too much. So I like it.
That's the appropriate take, I think. You know what? Honestly, it was a good card, and it still feels like one of Marvel Snap's genuine catch-alls for tech. But now that you have Vision at 5/9, that 5/6 stat line does feel particularly weak.
You're
However,
gonna cut every 5-drop for Vision. I love it.
Yeah, every 5 up, like, oh, you're playing Mans, but no, just Vision. Sorry. The first Ghost Rider, talking about cards I actually forgot existed in Marvel Snap, going to a 2/7, which I believe was its original stat line, and then they nerfed it because they thought it was going to be too strong. Regis, am I right? Wrong? I don't know. Do you remember this?
I think in the data mines or something, it was a 2/7. I think it got released maybe as a 2/5. Is that right? I don't remember. It's been all over the place. It is something. Still, I don't think it's any good. Is what's crazy. Like I think some people are playing like a Cerebro 7 deck with like Fire Lord or something. I saw maybe even Dexter was doing that. I forget, but I don't. think I can play this much.
If we were to take a shot every time you brought up Dexter or Cerebro in this podcast, people would be getting their stomach pumped already.
I love Dexter and I hate Cerebro, so it's just like, the two extremes. I love Dexter more than anything, and I hate Cerebro the most. I'm getting the clicks, man. This is how you get the clicks.
You gotta get the clicks. But with that being said, it's funny that Cosmic Ghost Rider, or the first Ghost Rider, I should say, has not been able to make like a Khonshu deck work. Like, these are huge stats that naturally synergize with Khonshu. There's got to be something there, right? Like, get rid of a Gore, you know what I mean? Or something like that. There's got to be something.
Yeah, I bet somebody could put together a good Gore or Iron Man Khonshu deck. Anything with like, thinking about Zombie Galacti. Can I do something with Zombie Galacti now? Probably.
Oh, now we're really coping.
I like Khonshu and Zombie Galacti together, but that's, I don't know. You do it. You make the cool deck.
I got to do it now? I mean, even if you just Cosmic Ghost Rider Dracula and then bring that back with Khonshu, that works, doesn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Look, we're already cooking. Boom. We just changed the meta completely.
Solved it. Yeah.
Solved it. It's done. The meta's over. As we're going to talk about the newest cards to enter Marvel Snap. That's right. We're getting to the new stuff here. We got some stats to talk about. Released as the Season Pass card. Regis, we have Spider-Punk, a 3/3. You can move this once. When this moves to a location, steal 2 power from your highest power enemy here. Regis, I'll give you the floor, but before I do so, I'll let you guys know that statistically the card is doing particularly well. Do note, though, this is the first week since the new season, so we are using bot-inflated stats, ranked 70 to 100 on Untapped. Looking like most decks are hitting that 59 to 60% win rate range for Spider-Punk. Regis, what are your thoughts?
I love how you say, I'm gonna let you give your reaction, but here's the official data that you can't argue with. No, that sounds right. I don't disagree with the data here. I like it. I think he's like good, kind of a good move card if you're like supporting him with extra moves. Doesn't compete with Torch in that world, but also maybe like generically kind of good, just like a 3/7 basically that has some flexibility with moves and location. So it lives in that like OG Nocturne space for me a little bit, right? Like that 3-drop that can move a little bit and does a little something extra. I like him fine. Yeah, I think actually I was nervous about his buff, but I think he's okay at a 3/3, by the way. That's fine.
He's definitely okay at a 3/3, but you bring up a really important point. First of all, I actually really like Spider-Punk. I think it's a really fun card. I think it's well designed. I think it's flashy. I think what it does is really cool. I think it puts up good power. And in every other circumstance, I think this is a fantastic card. But you kind of touched on it, and it's the other 3 costs that's the problem. It's like it's so unbelievably overshadowed by what Human Torch does that I feel like the comparison's not fair. It's such an apples to orange comparison because if you're holding both on turn 3, you're never playing Spider-Punk.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I ran into that recording my video. Yeah. I was always like, I want to showcase the new card in my video. And it was like, I always had Torch in hand. And it was like, oh, okay, the new card just gets to sit and watch, I guess. That sucks.
Yeah. And I think I had a clip in my video too where I'm like, no, this is educational. I cannot play Spider-Punk here. And you need to know this. Like, you need to know this if you're thinking about dropping, 10 buckaroonies on I was gonna say Human Torch, which I still have up here, on the Punk of the Spiders, because he gets completely overshadowed by Human Torch, which I think is really unfortunate because from a design perspective, I think Spider-Punk is cooler. I think it's probably more fun.
Yeah.
And it does something really interesting. But like I had games where I was moving Spider-Punk a whole ton, and it was like, okay, I could do that, or I can like get Human Torch over 50. You know what I mean? It's like It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's I think you probably are identifying that Torch might be too good of an enabler for move decks. I don't know if you looked at the data. I hadn't really until just now. Like, is Spider-Punk getting played in other decks successfully, or like only move adjacent stuff? Like, can he be like, here's a Wiccan deck he's okay in, for instance. No, that's an Affliction deck actually. I don't know. Yeah, In other words, if he had his own like separate identity, I'd be less stressed about the torch thing. But it seems like most of his decks have torch, which means
Yes, the
he's
top
gonna
performing
feel
ones
bad.
that I have that I took just before the podcast, they do have torch in it. There is a scream variation that does not use human torch, which is kind of fun. And I actually prefer that. And if anything, given how popular move is, I'm totally happy playing scream. And also, there's a fantastic bundle out right now where for gold, I think it's a pretty good bundle from an actual like progression and credits and whatever tokens perspective. Good conversion of gold into stuff, but like Spider-Punk and Scream is good. I think it's cool. You debuff and stuff like that, and it's a decent. It's not even. That's the thing with Scream. You don't even counterplay move that much because then they're like, well, maybe I won't play. Maybe I'll just carry Dagger, and Dagger will just move around and stuff like that, right? And people forget Dagger's actually really good too. But yeah, that's kind of where I think. I think Spider-Punk is a really cool card. I think it puts up good power. It's just in this weird pigeonhole because it's like, well, I can't really do what Human Torch does. Human Torch is just simply the carry card for the archetype, to the point where I wonder if a lot of the stats that we're seeing, like, oh, we can say Spider-Punk has a 60% win rate on aggregate, but it's being carried by other cards. It's being played in an archetype that is just being so pumped with so many buffs that realistically, what else could you expect?
Yeah, I think that's a good insight. Yeah, he's also just, by the way, cool looking. Like, I think Spider-Punk looks so awesome. Like, he just looks like something about a superhero with a guitar. Like, I'm just in on that. Like, I just want to see him in my games. So I'm rooting for
no,
him.
it definitely is a cool card. And so generally speaking, like, are you yay or nay on this season pass purchase?
That's hard to say. I probably lean a little yay because I see some potential down the road, but I'm like hesitant with it because I don't know. It depends on if you value fun or purely like, it doesn't like create a new deck or like really make your decks crazy, but I also think he's like good to have. So sort of yay. Is that a fair
And as
answer?
content creators, it's always easy for us to spend your hard-earned money. So
Yeah,
of course,
of
you got to
yeah.
know what your collection looks like and what you
Yeah.
want to play. Because if you don't want to play move, then you're going to want to wait to see exactly what Regis said before. Does it work in Affliction? Can it work there, right? And if that's the type of deck you want to play in, then sure. But if you're just, I'm never going to play move, then this card is probably something you do not want to invest in. Regardless, though, it's doing pretty well overall, and it looks like it's going to be a mainstay as long as move is going to remain relevant. Now, I'm going to give you the floor on this one. You said you love it. It's Man-Spider, the 5/1 that reads on reveal, merge the last card you played into this. When this merges, double its power. Regis, why do you love this card?
I just like big numbers. I know we talked about the purity of Marvel Snap, which I do also appreciate, but I also like big, dumb numbers as long as they don't feel too broken or too powerful, right? And Man-Spider with Absorbing Man in particular, they have that weird interaction where they both take on this text, which means they both double their power when they merge. So when they merge together, it's doubling it twice or 4xing the power, and you just get these like absurdly huge, like 200 power Man-Spiders or whatever, and then you Taskmaster or Arnim Zola or whatever, and you just it's totally absurd. I think it's kind of okay because Shadow King and Shang-Chi and all these cards exist. Same time, I know it scares some people away, and since it's the premium. Called the premium season pass?
It is the super premium. Yeah, you got to pay the big buckaroonies for this one.
That's always a little frustrating, I think, for players when you see a card hit like 200 power or whatever, and it's like the only way to get it is to pay $20. I guess you can spend tokens now, right? Still to get these, but still, it's an expensive commitment either way. So, you're always like balancing that side of it. From a purely like I'm making big stupid numbers standpoint. It's like, oh, I like it. It's hard for me to resist as like a YouTuber first and foremost. Maybe you get to make some big dumb numbers, which is cool.
Yeah, and I think that it's very analogous to like how it felt to play Blob early on, where you're like, yo, look how dumb I can make Blob, right? And it feels like that kind of. But what I will say is like, again, a little bit tinfoil hat theory here, but you nerf Shang-Chi, you nerf Shadow King, right? We also forgot going into this move season that Mercury got nerfed.
Yeah, Mercury too.
Let's not forget that either. So like you nerfed a lot of the tech cards, and then suddenly it's like, yo, you guys want to see power? Check out Man-Spider, right? I think the problem with this line, honestly, it's when this merges double its power, it should be like once per game. Like it's so dumb that like you do this with Abs Man on top of Agony. and then you play like Penny Parker's Spider on it. It's like boom, 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 600 power. And you're like sick. Like what? Yes, you just answer like if they snap on you, they have Shangers or Shadow King or whatever. But like realistically, like that's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like the power levels, and it's probably because of these replicated mergers.
Yeah, does it have great data? I haven't really kept up much. I climbed really easily with this when I was playing it, I know, but I didn't actually look at the wider data out there. It looks like it's good with Mr. Negative decks, but maybe not. Yeah, actually, there's quite a few positive lists, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, generally speaking, what I pulled from a win rate perspective just prior to the podcast here, approximately 59% win rate was the Sauron-based shells with Scar, right? And then we had also the Arnim Zola Black Panther kind of merger deck.
That's what I was playing, yeah.
Yeah, which is running a 57% win rate. So win rates are good. Still bot inflated though. I do think that I bet you there's a lot of situations here where people are like staying in games and they're getting Shang-Chi, they're getting Shadow King, because those cards still exist. They're still valuable. And if anything, I think this card is a really good example of like, if you don't have necessary tech pieces in your deck, you might just get cooked. Like you kind of have to run the tech, despite the fact that they've nerfed them so far back. But there's no question about it that Manspider is producing absolutely insane power levels. And I think that it's probably going to be relevant. Like, I don't know if the stats early on even indicate that it's in nerf territory. It feels like it should be, but also like you have these inexpensive answers that completely shut this card down. It's just a matter of running them. You know what I mean? So like, what are your thoughts on whether or not this could potentially see a nerf, considering it's getting like over 100 power on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Second Dinner probably nerfs more on data than sentiment. Is that fair to say? I think that's fair to say. I've never really thought about it before.
They do.
But
Yeah.
it seems like, in other words, cards that are like frustrating or really, this is like a really big moment and like, it creates a lot of like, oh, that dude's insane, 300 power, which is frustrating for players. But if the data is healthy, it may not get nerfed anyway, right? So they may just say, oh, the data's fine, which it is true. Sometimes cards like that, they get a lot of play when they're hyped and new, but if the data's not there, sometimes they do fall off as people trend towards just playing the better thing. That said, I think it looks pretty good anyway. So it's a potential candidate, I would say. It also, anytime a future merge card comes out, there's another way to juice it up even further. So could just keep getting better too.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, actually, when you bring that up, like the data-oriented kind of nerfing they do, it reminds me of that time, this was a while back, where they nerfed Darkhawk and it had like a 1% play rate on Untapped. They're like, this card's pretty good. People just don't know it. I'm like, well, then, like, why not just let people figure it out? Like, I don't know. Like, why are we nerfing a card that no one's playing? Like, I would kind of, like, again, I'm not a game dev or a game designer, but, like, sometimes those types of changes baffle me a bit. It's like, I think you need to improve, like, what people are actually experiencing, right? Like, what are people actually experiencing when they boot up Marvel Snap while they're on the can? Improve that experience for people, right? And if Manspider is making their experience feel worse, then maybe you got to take a look at it. But it has, like, the thing is, as a 5/1, like, the potential downswing of, like, a Shadow King is immense. Like, it's not like a Red Skull that still has its native power. Like, this thing turns into a pile of garbage if you hit it with that tech piece, right? So I guess it does have that very wide gamut of, like, potential swing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think sometimes though those like really binary results where it's like either giga busted or giga terrible, that actually is even more frustrating than like a smoother spectrum of results, right? Because sometimes that feels a little more approachable or manageable or whatever. So it's like in that case, it's actually really frustrating for both players. Like, the Manspider player has no fun because their card goes back to a 5/1. And, the other guy, when it's 300 power, has zero fun because the card's 300 power. There's not like a lot of range in between. So I do think that like sometimes devs over rely on data or over index on data a little bit when it comes to balance changes, because it's almost like they're trying to seek some objective truth about the like reality of the cards or whatever. But video games aren't objective truth. They only exist through the perception of their players, right? You're not trying to achieve some perfect mathematical balance. You're trying to make people have fun. And if you lose sight of that objective, you're not really serving the game or the player anymore, right? You're serving some abstract data god that doesn't do anything. Like, I want to make the game fun for the player first. And, obviously there's nuance to that, and like data can still influence that. I'm not saying ignore data altogether, but like I do think indexing on the player experience is more important. And I am kind of sort of a game dev now, I guess. So maybe I lend a tiny air of authority, just the tiniest little inch of authority to that. But I don't know.
You
I
are
might
a
be
game
wrong.
dev, sir. We got to do an
Yeah.
updated video sometime with all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll log into Steam and like it feels like almost every second day it's like an update. It's an update.
Yeah,
like you're
we have a lot of
constantly there's
that.
the amount of updates you guys are doing is absolutely insane.
Yeah, we've changed a lot since we played together. A lot of new tutorials too, so I think your onboarding experience would be better. But we're still getting better all the time.
That's
We'll do
awesome,
something.
man.
I'll talk to you soon. We're making some big changes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely keep me in the loop. Would love to. And what I will say as well is you brought up the binary experiences of Snap, and I felt like the ranked ladder has been very much this, where it's like I've gotten to the point where I don't like retreating in Snap. Like let me clarify that. I understand its merit. I understand its competitive merit, and I think it's really cool in those circumstances. However, sometimes I feel like games are turning into, if you don't have tech pieces, right? It's, oh, they got their man spider big, I gotta leave, right? Oh, it's like I feel like games get to like turn 5 and 6, and people like either like they decide whether they win or lose right there, and the games never see themselves out because of these kind of very binary, like you either have the thing or you don't. They do the thing or you don't, or like. So I would like to lean away from that because I think that adding the tech cards back into the deck, like having Shang-Chi is the thing that keeps you in the game after they snap. You know what I mean? That's where the cube equity is. And I just would like to see more games get closed out because I feel like there's so much retreating on the ranked ladder right now. And I think part of that's because they've improved the bots to be much more aggressive. They've actually, I think they've made it so that like, they've reduced the number of like kind of like, oh, you lost a couple games. Here's a dirt bot for you to get your 4 cubes in just to kind of keep you on your way. They've reduced all that. So now the ladder feels sweatier than ever, and people are much more hesitant to take any risks in their matches prior to getting to Infinite. And so hopefully we can get some of that feeling back. Have you felt the laddering experience being slightly different?
I'm not the best to answer this because my experience has been very different because I have not been playing as much. Like ever since we've put our game out, which I'm not trying to chill my game too much, but just literally this experience. And I haven't even said the names, so you know I'm not chilling. I've been playing my game so much as a game dev, working with people and like, you know, just constantly trying to experiment and balance and like playing so much. I don't ever play Snap off stream. Like this last season, I had to play 5 hours on Monday night before the final day of the reset to hit Infinite. Like I had never not hit Infinite before. So I stayed up like till 3 a.m. to hit Infinite that night just to make sure I got it done, you know? So in other words, I climbed from like 84 to 100 in like a day and a half all at once. And it was like so condensed. I don't even know what my experience was like. I don't know. I was like the last day of the month too. So like it was probably a totally different player pool. And it didn't feel that bad to me. I just played a Wiccan deck and kind of cruised, to be honest. So I don't know. Might have just played a really good deck. But I hear you, and I hear a lot of players that do have frustrations. So I feel like something's in the mix. Part of me thinks if the player population went down, maybe there are just more bots, and that's creating weirdness too. I don't know. It's something going on now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're gonna go out on a whim here and say that your game absolutely has to get shout out. Project Sky Shard is going to be linked in the description down below. It's free to download during this early window of time where you get to experience the love. And you and I made a video together. I had a ton of fun. I was awful at it. I was absolutely awful.
You'll be better now. We made it easier to get good faster. Don't worry. That's what we're working on.
So that'll be linked down below, guys. And yeah, it's honestly a fun game, and it's really cool because I think that like it's a really creative approach to like kind of like auto battling base building and stuff like that. And I think that you guys are doing a fantastic job. And I'm not joking when I say that literally there's an update like every second day. Like you guys are doing a tremendous amount of work on it. So yeah, Project Sky Shard, free demo on Steam, link down below. Go check it out.
I don't want to shill. It's not why I'm here. We're here to, but thank you.
I'm shilling for you, bud.
Thank you.
Do you want to lead us into the Superior Spider-Man, who, for the record, I chose as my card of the month? This was my 5-star of the month. What do you mean?
Oh, well, okay. Superior Spider-Man, a new 3/4, Series 5. At the start of each turn, you get +1 energy if you have any cards with increased power in play. Alex, why don't you tell us what you think about this card and why it is for sure the best card of the month and an easy 5-star review?
So I like what you did there because like going into the first review, I gave you the stats up front that didn't give you any wiggle room, and now you've done the same to me. You're like, hey Alex, clown, way to call out that this card is going to be better than Man Spider. For what it's worth, I gave Man Spider a 4.5, and I'm like, this card's going to be insane. I just thought that long term, that Superior Spider-Man was going to be in such a wide breadth of decks. I felt like Man Spider, which I did call was going to be insane, was going to be very narrow in its focus, very narrow in its niche. And I felt like the Superior Spider-Man had such like so many decks it could be played in, where it's like ultimately it was going to be the top cheese. Now, statistically right now, it's not the top cheese. Man Thing is definitely a Man Thing. What the heck am I saying? Man Spider is definitely going to be better. And even the move shells are overperforming this. Like the decks that you're seeing with Superior Spider-Man are running approximately 59% win rates, 58% win rates in that particular range. And they're cool. They're good. They're just not crazy. What I actually really liked is you have a 57% win rate deck with high Evo that's kind of doing okay, because those are going to run things like Sunspot, Nebula, Misty Knight. Silver Sable even makes those decks. And so as a result, you end up getting like the immediate proc, and like Evo loves the extra energy. It's going to do so much with it, right? But in this current meta that we have, it's so hard to compete with like that saucy move that gets Human Torch to insane powers, and Man Spider, which goes absolutely insane. I feel like this is an amazing card any other week of any other season, but this particular week it's being overshadowed by some absolute ridiculous insanity.
Yeah, you might be right. So for context, I gave this card a 3 out of 4. I do a 4-star scale. So in other words, I didn't think it was going to be the best. I thought it was going to be good, playable card. But I actually said the opposite. I thought it was going to be really narrow and only be good in a couple decks max. Because I think this might still be true even after playing it. I think it's harder than people realize to get a green number on board. You got to have a green number on board, basically some buffed number, right? I think it's hard to get it. Like High Evo is basically the one deck that pretty reliably gets buffed cards out early. You know, you got Sunspot, they run Nebula, they're running Silver Sable in there for the like Affliction, Abomination kind of thing together. A lot of decks don't just naturally do that though. Like other decks are gonna have to change the deck in order to make Superior Spider-Man work. Like you're gonna have to add weird stuff in. Like you're gonna have to run a Silver Sable, and you maybe don't want to. It's not like a natural fit. I would say even the High Evo deck, it's not like the most obvious thing. It's kind of a fit. So I was worried that like tweaking your deck to support Superior Spider-Man, like you could probably do it. It's not hard to do, but there is like an opportunity cost there. And then you also need to make sure you have like the payoff, which High Evo again has a really good payoff. They love the extra energy for like She-Hulk skips and stuff, and Hulk having extra energy on turn 6 is great for his power going up. So like High Evo is actually sort of the perfect shell for this, where it does both the condition and the payoff really satisfyingly. But when I go through other decks, there aren't too many where I see that. I think like Horde decks are okay because like the Hunger gives you a green number, and like Mr. Fantastic, Zombie Fantastic gives you a green number, so that makes sense. But it's like, I'm not saying there won't be more in the future, because you always get more and more cards that can enable this. And every deck, of course, can utilize extra energy to some extent, right? But it's just, I think there has to be a little bit of a crossover between both of those. And I'm worried about the number of decks that are willing to kind of sacrifice their early game in order to achieve this condition, basically. I don't know how many will, but more probably will over time. So I think you're probably right in some way.
Yeah, like the way I think about it, like this feels like some of the freest energy you get in Snap. Like, think about what you have to do with Electro. Well, now Electro, you just man Spider, so that's another conversation. But you have, like, Jennifer Kale, right? You have Wiccan, who you have to play on curve. You run, like, Domino Quicksilver, who isn't even that bad anymore. Wiccan single-handedly made those two cards playable. Well, Domino needed a power buff, but, you know, you have Luna Snow, which gives the kind of reciprocated effect. Like, this is just every turn. Boom, boom, boom. As long as that green thing, you play the Hunger turn 1 or Mr. Fanta turn 2, and all of a sudden, this guy is just allowing you to do whatever you want. It's free real estate. You got 7, like, it's beautiful. And that's kind of what I thought. Like, of all the ramp cards, this feels like relatively low committal. And I think you're right. I feel like it'll get better over time. Because, yes, are you shoehorning something like a Silver Sable into Evo? Kind of. You kind of are. honestly. But I will tell you that the top performing shell right now at a 59% win rate is the Horde deck that you talked about, according to Untapped. So, yeah, absolutely. I like Spear Spider-Man, but I think he is being overshadowed. Of these 3 cards that were released this week, how would you rank them?
I think I'm putting Man Spider number 1, actually, just because I've personally had so much success with it. And like, I think Spider Punk's numbers are there, but I think it's being propped up by its decks almost more than it is, its own inherent strengths. Whereas I think Man Spider has kind of powered its decks and it's like pulled them up. It's otherwise like Spider Punk is being pulled up, Man Spider is pulling them up. So I'd say Man Spider number 1, Spider Punk number 2, and Superior Spider-Man number 3 for me. Also, did we talk about Web Sling? That came out this week too, right?
That did come out this week. I kind of forgot about that.
I did too,
it's pretty good too.
Yeah.
But what I will say though is for me, my rankings are Man Spider 1, Superior Spider-Man 2, Spider Punk 3. I would say Spider Punk. I think Spider Punk's being carried.
Yeah, I can live with that. I think that's fine.
Okay. Do you want to say anything about Web Sling?
Not really. It's good in move.
I don't want to say anything either. It's fine. It's fine. It's a card that exists. It does things, and it's pretty good. But is that going to be the case for Ezekiel Sims? Regis, Ezekiel Sims is a 2/2 that reads, after you play a card with higher power here, give this +2 power and move this to another location. It took me a while, and on the last pod, I even said, I'm not sure who Ezekiel Sims is. I'll be honest with you. I'm not like a connoisseur of Marvel lore. I actually did just buy my first ever kind of collection of comics that I purchased. Cool. I bought it's just slightly out of reach. I bought the Kang Only Myself Left to Conquer anthology because I absolutely love it. I think it's one of my favorite stories I've read in a very long time. And actually, on that note, I'm really interested in getting more like kind of like good Marvel stories that you can kind of buy in a small collection type thing. If anybody has suggestions, I'm here for it, because I heard like the Moira X stuff is really good. I heard House of X is really good. So I'm kind of interested in exploring more of those really fantastic stories. But I had no idea who Ezekiel Sims was. I'd never heard of him. And then someone brought it up. They're like, yo, Alex, Ezekiel Sims is from that absolute garbage movie, Madam Web. And I was like, wait a minute. That's like the bad Spider-Man dude who like, and I was like, oh my gosh. So here's a fun story. I had no intention of watching Madam Web, but when I was flying somewhere, I think I was flying to one of the PAXs, it was like I had the little monitor on the screen in front of me on the plane, and Madam Web was there as like one of the new releases. I'm like, people say this is garbage. How bad is it? So I watched it. It was like watching a movie that Sony was like, all right, guys, let's get a high school like drama club to make a Marvel film, and this is exactly what they got. It was so unbelievably bad that like anybody who even would have tried to like read the script would be like, yo, this is shit. Like, you shouldn't release this. Like, don't even film this. Don't spend the money on anything. Just continue to cook. This is awful. You're not even cooking. You're just like, everything's just going stale on the countertop here. Like, just do not do this. And they did it anyways. And I'm pretty sure that was one of the movies where the director said like everyone else was wrong and they were dumb and the movie was good. I think there was like some controversy around that. But if you've ever seen Madam Web, Ezekiel Sims is in that. And if you don't want to see Madam Web, don't, because there's literally no redeeming feature to it. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I haven't seen it. I did, though, Google Ezekiel Sims 5 minutes before this phone call because I was like, he's going to want to talk about this. I don't know anything about it. And they were like, he's in the Madam Web movie. And I was like, oh, cool. I had no idea. He looks nothing like that in this card. He looks like an old man. He's just chilling on a wall. I don't know.
It's like, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, there's even moments in it where, like, when you're watching a movie and, like, the villain should be more capable, but like they do things like they get the victim like in a spot, and instead of just just get her, she's right there. He'll like do like the walk. He'll like give everyone time to catch up, and he'll have to say something. He'll have to delay. But yeah, like the movie's so bad. But Ezekiel Sims, is Ezekiel Sims bad? That's the question I pose to you, Regiskillbin.
I think he's kind of of okay, honestly. I saw some people saying he was going to be bad though, so I'm like second guessing myself. Like, should I believe myself? I kind of think it's okay because like you got the like regular move deck, right, with Human Torch and Ghost Spider and all this stuff, and they're doing the big torches and the big daggers, right? But then you got this other like kind of Hydra Stomper mass kind of move deck where it's all about moving a lot of stuff like Silk, and it's about getting that Hydra Stomper as big as you can. I kind of think this could juice that like moving tons of stuff deck as opposed to moving the big stuff deck. So you just throw in Silks. Maybe you got a Hercules in there. I don't even know. I think you probably put Spider-Punk in there as a good curve follow after Ezekiel Sims. And you got Craven, obviously. You maybe a Miles in there. Maybe eventually a Prowler dude when he comes out. And I think you're just like bouncing a million cards, and Hydra Stomper's like 20 power, and Sims is maybe up to like 8 power. Craven's up to 12 power. I think you kind of got a deck there. So I think it's going to happen. It just depends on how consistently you're getting this guy to like 2-8 or more. If you can't get him to 2-8, maybe he sucks.
The challenge I have with him is that it feels like there's a very hard cap on his ceiling because you have to surpass his power, right? Like if you think about Silk, you just got to play there. Your opponent just has to play there. Like, is Silk simply superior for a Hydra Stomper style deck versus Ezekiel Sims? Like, it would have to be, right?
I think it is. I think you can do both. I think Silk's actually a pretty good way to get him from 4 to 6, maybe, right? So I don't know. I'm also thinking about Batman the Leaper. A lot of people call him
Batman the
Batroc,
Leaper,
but
that's
I
awesome.
call him Batman. He's going around every time too. It's like this is not just his power, but he's an extra way to push all the other guys. Batman and Craven and Hydra Stomper. I don't know. I haven't played. It's one of those where I feel like I have to play it to really know. I have a feeling I'm going to play it and be like, oh, this sucks. He's never going off. Like, he's still a 2-4. And I don't have any way to make him bigger right now, So I'm worried. But I could also be like, I played Hydra Stomper and I pushed him up to 10 now. Because, I got him. I silked him up to 6. And then I played, Vision. Vision pushes him up to 8. And now Hydra Stomper takes him to 10. And I'm kind of happy, So I don't know. I hate playing those decks though because like Silk's going everywhere, this guy's going everywhere, Batman's going everywhere. I filled a location accidentally and now I'm screwed. Like I hate those decks. I'm dreading Tuesday because I don't want to have to play it, but I will.
If Batroc the Leaper is Batman, then Ezekiel Sims is the Joker because I think he's going to be a clown.
You mean one of the coolest villains in all of the history? The Joker as opposed to the villain in the Madam Web movie, huh? Okay.
It's true. They're not cut from the same cloth, I got to be honest with you. But so the problem with Ezekiel Sims is, okay, so you get it to move. And one of the reasons why I believe that Spider-Punk actually got buffed, because in data mines,
sure.
Spider-Punk was a 3-2. It wouldn't have been able to move Ezekiel Sims. Yeah. Now as a 3-3, he gets to move Ezekiel Sims, as does Superior Spider-Man. So Ezekiel Sims will get the buff. So that's another one on curve that you're able to do and get that extra energy for as well. Now, is it enough for those two cards to be moving Ezekiel Sims, especially when you have decks that are already so unbelievably good? And the change to Vision makes perfect sense as well, because now at a 5-9, if this is a 2-8, Vision can now move it. So all these things are very like, well, let's not buff Ezekiel Sims because we know he sucks. Let's buff some of the support pieces around him to get him to actually to move and prosper. I think ultimately, if you can bank on this guy being a 2-6, is that enough power? Because it won't. Maybe you get to control it more because like Silk can scam you sometimes. Like your opponent can move Silk and kind of play around it as well. It can end up where you don't want it to be and stuff like that. But like, for me, I'm concerned that while this card naturally wants to be played this season, it naturally will go in decks. It's not going to go into the Human Torch deck, which is going to be the top performing deck for something like a Spider-Punk. I just like a new version of Silky Smooth. Can this make it? I'm not entirely sure. But Hydra Stomper got buffed. It's now a 3-3, which I think is going to be one of the linchpin carry cards of this archetype. So honestly, I'm not sure. I'm with you. I'm less excited about Ezekiel Sims going into this Tuesday. I think many people are, but I have hope. So Regis, we do 5-star ratings here. What star rating are you considering? I revealed mine last week. Let's hear yours.
I'm just gonna say 3 for everybody. It's safe, right? That's why I went to a 4-star rating. It forces you into a decisive score. You can't cop out with 3s. You have to either pick better or worse than the halfway mark. But I'm going to say 3 stars. Cop out. I think that's actually legit, though. I think he's just kind of solid, if that makes sense. Like, I think that mass move deck will be good, but like, you know, tier 2 or something. Like you said, worse than a regular move deck, but probably could climb with it, if that makes sense.
I'm leaning towards the lower end on the 2 side, 2 to 2.5 range, like on the weaker end. I don't think he's excellent. I don't think he's great, but I don't think he's complete fecal matter either. He's going to be somewhere in the middle. There's just going to be better ways to play move.
I was just thinking, though, how do you buff this guy? Like, of course you could make him like 1 cost, but if you buff his power, he's harder to activate. And if you buff his power scaling, like if he gained +3 power, again, he's harder to activate again. Like, you know, it's hard to buff. You'd have to set him to 1/2, I guess, to really buff him. So he might
You
get
buff
stuck.
him by refunding his tokens.
Yeah, it does feel like one of those where it's like, even if he's decent, it's a big commitment for a really niche deck because he's not going to be good at anything else. Like, obviously, very, very focused on this one Hydra Stomper thing, basically. And beyond that, you know, unplayable. So I say that. I don't know. I actually, as I say that, could you just run this in like a tempo deck where he's like a 2/8, you know? Like, you just play regular cards. You know, just, you don't have to, he doesn't have to support move, technically. Like, is a 2/8 big enough? You know, you play Lizard, you play Maximus. This guy's a 2/8 sometimes. Like, I'm still kind of high. I don't know. I'm like, now I'm thinking about 4 stars again. I don't know. 3's fine. I like
That's a lot of cope.
though.
That's a lot of cope. It's a lot even for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, okay, on Tuesday, Regis' video, a brand new Ezekiel, Sims, and Nakia deck. Play Nakia, get him to move.
Alex was wrong, is what it's going to say.
Alex was wrong. And it's going to be, yeah. Oh, one of these days, though, you're going to have to teach me your thumbnail game because it's too good. Like, your thumbnail craft is so incredible.
It's so hard and it takes so long. It would be impossible to teach. It's so, like, I honestly, it's been very good to me, so I can't complain, but I almost regret it because it takes so long. Did you see my absorbing man spider where it's like he's got 6 arms and like
I did. Listen, I see all your videos and I sometimes I also want to know, like, if I have a bit of a take where I'm like, I think this card's crap or I think this card's really good and I feel like I'm against consensus, I really want to hear like what you say. I really want to hear like what Bink says. I really want to hear what people are saying. And so like I like, especially on those, I'll like watch more stuff. If I'm more confident about my assessment, I watch less. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's funny because like I was kind of a little more down on Superior Spider-Man, for instance, but you seem really high on him.
I like it. I still think it's good.
I'm higher on Zombie Galacti than everybody. Like, I actually think Zombie Galacti is close to being good, and everybody else is like, this is the worst card that's ever been made. I hate it. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. I think there's a chance. So
I made the official video for it.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
I was so scared. I was like, man, this card is, I might be able to cope a little bit, but like, man, the hoops you got to jump through for this thing, it's just crazy. Yeah. Like, play anything else, it's more straightforward. And one of the concerns I had, I think I even said it on the pod, I said that like, I felt like I can make a video where it looked great in highlights, but like, if you actually look at the stats, like, you're basically building this one trick that only looks good in highlights. You know what I mean?
I had a positive, I think I had like a negative win rate, but a positive cube rate. I'm actually trying to pull it up right now for my initial video because I played Conchu. I was like, I was living on a high because I was like, oh, I had pretty good numbers with this deck. Oh, okay, yeah. I actually had a terrible win rate. I went 6-9. Oh, nice. Well, I had 2 different versions of the deck. But I was up 7 cubes, and then I went 4-4 with a second version, was up 1 cube. So I was like up 8 cubes. I was like, hey, pretty good. And I mean, I said like, you know, solid. I don't think I said good. It's like, it's promising, you know. Then the data comes in on that deck list on Untapped the next day, and I was like, I thought it was pretty good. Like, I didn't play a ton of games, you know, small sample size. It was like 15 games or something. 29% win rate. Negative 0.8 cubes or something. The people who played my deck had the worst. They ruined my win rate. I was like, oh god, it is really bad.
It was their fault.
I was like, I didn't even think it was like suspicious because I had a pretty good run, you know. It wasn't like I was trying to force it, and like, man. And then I did another Zombie Galactic deck and had another decent run. So I'm still, I guess I'm coped. I don't know. It's I just guess I'm wrong. I just want to like it too much, I think.
They're not even going to touch that card because we're in move season, baby. They don't want anything taken. They want to sell these season passes, buddy. They're not touching Zombie Galacti. When this Zombie Galacti, sorry, they said it wrong in their own video. Zombie Galacti is going to get buffed after this season, Hundo P. There's no question. That's my prediction. That's my hot take there. And I'm looking forward. I think the card's kind of cool, unlike Ezekiel Sims. Now, Regis, that's going to take us to our next card, which I joked about prior. I actually forgot that was releasing today. It's not even part of the little things we have underneath here. Chameleon, the 3/3 that reads, on reveal, copy the text of another card here you revealed this turn. Kind of a bit of a mouthful. One of the more, kind of just difficult things to kind of parse out. There's a lot of key activating words there, like here, for instance. And this turn. I mean, it's not that complicated. Maybe I should just calm myself down a little bit here. But what I will say is I am like I don't want to say excited about this card. I'm like, I have some sort of like excitement to play it in Surfer, but outside of that, like I'm just not feeling it. It's a Series 4 card. I always appreciate a good Series 4 release, even though we just jumped over web sling like it was absolutely nothing. But like Chameleon, could it be good? Regis, I'll give you the floor.
I kind of feel like something about this card is so boring to me, and I don't know what it is, because it's actually not that boring. Like you said, Surfer is, I think, a really obvious. Just go for like the double Surfer on 6 or whatever, or if you got Sarah, play something else too. Like that seems like a really obvious good fit. 2 Surfers is awesome. It's perfect from a timing standpoint. And I also was thinking about like Iron Man on turn 5, and then Mystique and Chameleon on turn 6, so you can get like 3 Iron Mans, The Chameleon becomes an Iron Man from Mystique. Like that seemed kind of cool too, but this is very rare for me. For some reason, I just don't feel excited to do either of those things. Something about this card has just completely lost my attention, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's instincts and it's going to be bad, but it does seem promising. Cerebro 3 we were just talking about. This could be another like Mystique option in Cerebro 3. Slam Cerebro and then this and like. So I think it can do a surprising amount of things, but I think maybe I don't like it because I know it's only good on turn 6, and like any other turn, it's probably garbage, and that's so linear and kind of boring. I don't really know though. What do you think?
What I think is I kind of regret bringing up the fact that you can make a drinking game of how many times we said Cerebro, because if anyone is actually doing that, like they're having a really rough time right now. But yeah, Cerebro for sure. Like Cerebro and Mystique, obvious combination. C3 is gonna love this. Not that C3 needs any additional help. Did it not just win a massive tournament? I'm just going to throw that out there. So it'll definitely see play there. Silver Surfer, I think, is cool because one of the major things like you touched on was like you can like reproc the Silver Surfer, and you used to have to rely on like Hope Summers and like then playing a Sarah on top of that, then doing like 3/3 and then 3 drop into Silver Surfer Avsman type thing. Or you have to set up the Silver Surfer first steps, for instance. But one of the challenges and kind of keeps me away from loving this card is the fact that it has to be played on the same location, which limits things like Sage, for instance. I thought like, okay, Sage could be cool as a closer, but like you usually just trade the location with Sage. Like, do you really need to play it twice? And then like, it's so like, I don't know. It is a little awkward in its text, which I think reduces its functionality, but is this kind of what they expect for Series 4 cards? But at the same time, it's like you kind of see the potential here, right? Another utilization I want to just throw out there is like, what if you played alongside Anti-Venom? Because you can copy the text of theoretically a free card, right? So you can kind of snake it into lines, which you might not be able to traditionally do, like on turn 5.
Yeah, that's smart. That's sneaky. Yeah.
What are you even copying?
I don't know. Yeah, I think there's ways to figure this out probably. I just don't want to be the guy that like makes it fun or cool. Because like Silver Surfer videos at this stage for me are so boring and nobody wants to see them. It's like, oh, 3-cost card comes out. Make a Silver Surfer video, like I don't want to do that.
I'm cutting this from the pod. Don't do this. Don't do this. Do not trash Silver Surfer. Like you can do anything you want, but do not. You watch your mouth when you talk about Silver Surfer on this podcast.
I love the character. That's like probably one of my favorite Marvel characters, but don't love the card so much. We've done a lot. We've done it a lot. My heart. It's the same recipe every time. It's like, I've made this video 47 times. You know what I mean? And I've done the thumbnail where I turn them into Silver Surfer too. I'm going to put him on a surfboard. What do you want to bet? He's going to be all silver and he's going to be on a surfboard. Thumbnail done. Like, I'm so bored of doing that. He's already kind of silver in the face. So, like, I think you're right though. That word "here" is going to become really important for this card, and it's going to be more awkward than people realize. And the fact that you can't play him early, and the fact that you have to play him in the same spot, I think those two things are actually going to make this a lot worse than people realize. It might still make sense in Cerebro 3 as like a third Cerebro potentially or whatever, but I think beyond that, it's going to be clunkier than people think, and might be. Maybe that's why it's in Series 4 instead of Series 5. It seems like they often give us the kind of cards a lot of the time in Series 4. So that could be it.
Yeah, that definitely could be it. You're just lucky that I have not been actually playing much Silver Surfer lately. My pet deck that I continuously find myself wanting to go to lately actually has been Destroy. I like Moira X Destroy. Moira X is just so fun, man. I love that card. If I'm playing anything just for pure fun, I'm playing Moira X. I have found myself, like, just to get like weekend missions done and stuff like that. Because I haven't been grinding as many games as I traditionally have in the past. Just tired, man. I'm just tired, right? And I've actually been playing like the Superior Spider-Man Evo, which I do like, but I gotta tell you, there's something special about Destroy. I think Destroy's in a pretty good spot, even though X23 got a little bit of a nerf there, which did hurt the archetype quite a bit because that's you're not feeding into the nulls effectively. And X23 was almost like I didn't pull my Deadpool, so let's just get the stuff going here type thing. Can't do it quite as effectively, but overall still a really good archetype. I think that's going to take us to our Snapchat mailbag, unless I'm forgetting something. I think are we almost up the finish line here, sir? Are we almost done this Marvel Snapchat podcast? I think we are. There's two things I want to say now. We don't actually have a question for this, but I had this thought. This is a little uncharacteristic of me bringing my own question to the podcast here, but I had this thought. So I've really been liking the limited game modes and what they've been doing with them. And I was thinking to myself, how can they make Conquest better? Right? Conquest seems like no one wants to play. Do you play Conquest? I don't play Conquest.
Never.
No one plays Conquest.
I haven't played it in like 2 years unless I have to for a video or something.
Second dinner, you're allowed to steal this idea if it's a good one. I'm giving you permission. I think that one of the things that Second Dinner has not been doing, and they can use these in game modes, they need to lean into like kind of like the series more. Like imagine if Conquest was like this month, it's only Series 1. Or this month, it's only Series 1 to 2. Or this month, like imagine they gated like kind of like the types of cards that you could use. I know in some ways you're like, Alex, that kind of sounds like I want to use my cards that I pay money for, which is probably why they'll never do it. Because why would you buy Superior Spider-Man if you don't even use it in one of the modes?
Everyone is you can only use Series 5 cards. That's the only one they have.
You can only use the cards released this month. But no, I just had a thought. Wouldn't it be funny if we had game modes or something like that was like only Series 5 or not Series 5? No, that would suck. Only Series 1 or only Series 2, kind of like making like deck building challenges around specific kind of moments in time of Marvel Snap. You know what I mean? I thought that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think what's that called, like Popper format, I think in other games sometimes, exactly. Like Magic Gathering or something. Yeah. I mean, I think any way to slice that makes, well, two things, right? Like that would make it more approachable for free-to-play players and budget players. That'd be cool for them to have a little space to explore. It would actually kind of be more nostalgic probably for a lot of players, like going back to the simple older days of Marvel Snap in a lot of ways. But also just like having new ways to deck build and like, I guess, I don't know how true this is, but I think it's maybe at least a little true. In the limited time game modes, they don't really change deck building that much. Like they do a little bit because like the extra energy and stuff and high voltage, like I know they shift a little bit, and like the Guardians were in the whatever it's called, Sanctum or whatever. But it would be cool to like give you even more ways and reasons to like come up with new decks and new metas that are like more restrictive. So that, in other words, it sort of encourages more creativity than what we have right now, which is, I feel like right now it's like we have these 5 or 6, 7 archetypes or whatever, and we like plug in a new piece every once in a while, right? But there's not really that many like totally new things that ever pop up. You got Destroy, you got Move, you got Ongoing, and we just get new variations of those. Maybe honestly this Man Spider merge deck is kind of a new thing. It's like almost more new than most decks we see anyway. The Zombie Galactic could have been a new deck, but fallen flat, right? So I guess I am always itching for ways to like slice the game in different unique ways. So I think it would probably do that, which would be fun.
Yeah, I just think deck building challenges are fun. And even when I kind of said my thing out loud, I was like, yeah, they probably haven't done this because it's not actually that great of an idea. But who knows? Maybe someone was like, you know what though, Alex, if you just make a couple of these tweaks and maybe this type of game mode or this type, and all of a sudden it makes more sense, right? But we do have an actual question, and it comes from Kenji, and it reads, do you think that they should add 3 slots for skill cards? So technically, it'll be a 15-slot deck with 12 for cards and 3 for skills. The issue with this, will it take away with the amount of skill cards you want to use, or will they allow you to use your 12 slots for skill cards? And I guess what they're trying to say here is like, what if you had like a game mode or whatever, where like you actually could have like a sideboard of just skills that went alongside your 12-card deck? And we almost have this in Grand Arena where you start with a skill in hand, and that actually does generate a lot of the flavor of what those decks do. So is there the potential for them to kind of be a little more creative with their utilization of skill cards as like almost additions into different formats?
Yeah, I guess I have like a functionality question on how that's envisioned. Would you like would they be drawn from the same deck pool, or would they exist separately so you could just like grab one at any given time? You know what I mean? Like, are they? I'm thinking almost like a hero power in Hearthstone, where it's just there and you can utilize it, or is it like, you know? In other words, I don't think I'd want a 15-card deck because you'd add a lot more inconsistency and randomness, and like, you know, you wouldn't be able to do things as readily, and like your skills would just make your deck worse, I guess. Like, smaller decks are going to be better generally. So I would want it to exist in some kind of, you know, if we were going to do that. I'm not sure I want to do that, but if we were, I would think I'd want some kind of button or like some separate, maybe you draw a skill every other turn or something, you know, something like that, that was still introducing a little randomness and not so solved, I guess. I don't know if that's the right question. But.
No, you're asking me questions I don't have the answer to. You froze for a sec there. I was scared that we lost you.
Yeah, but, I was like,
yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was just, I thought it was an interesting idea of like, I wonder if they start to experiment with the deck building aspect of Snap, and skill cards do represent a very unique type of card they've introduced into the game, and they could potentially have it where like maybe they do have a mode where you do have like a champion skill, which is going to be one of the skill cards, because that is something I kind of miss from OG Hearthstone, like the idea of like, I'm playing Face Hunter and this button I hit for 2, it goes face, baby. Like, it's kind of interesting how that used to work. And like, even with commander cards, like even with with Riftbound, you have like a champion card that can be played. It's always available to you to play with your energy and stuff like that. It kind of adds consistency. I don't know. I guess this is also a good example as to why I'm not a game designer and just someone who hosts a podcast for friends to come on and talk about a game I love.
I do just wish like Marvel Snap had more new game modes. Like Grand Arena was nice, new, you know, but now we're kind of in this like the same 3, you know, or whatever. I guess it's actually been better lately, but it felt like it took forever to get more game modes coming. You know, like I'm just like we're lagging, and we're finally maybe catching up a little. So I'm just still craving more. I will be honest, I don't really play them that much. I guess it's maybe a little hypocritical of me to like request more, because I'm not. I don't know. It's like hard. It's hard from a content creator standpoint, because like a lot of people just want to see like the normal stuff and like what deck I used to climb or whatever. So I usually do like one deck video and a new game mode, not much beyond that. So maybe they're actually catering to me, and I'm the culprit. I'm the reason there aren't more game modes. Whoops. I need to support them more, perhaps.
Yeah, but what I will say though is I think they've been doing a good job making these new game modes, and I feel like it does add a nice pulse to the game, which I do appreciate, because like the ranked grind at this point, like I'm just not interested in it, especially since they removed a lot of like they added a lot to the grind, and I feel it, and I'm like, you know what, I just don't want to engage with the game in this way. Like I love this game, and I want to play it in a way that I love, and grinding against cheater bots is not, or like, you know, constant one or two cube retreat games is not the way I want to do it. And when you're in a game like Grand Arena, one of the benefits of the ticket system is people don't often concede. They don't often leave. You see the games through, which I do appreciate to some extent at this point in my Marvel Snap career. But what I will say is, Regis, it's about that time that we say goodnight to our friends. Good day, perhaps. Maybe you're driving to work in the morning. I don't know. But either way, thank you so much for listening to us today. Regis, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. You are someone who I respect so highly, and for me, I am so grateful that you took time out of your incredibly busy schedule with your family, your work, and everything that you do to be here on this podcast with me and our viewership here. So thank you, Regis, for being here today.
Yeah, no, man, I'm always happy to hop on. I love you. You're a mainstay of the Marvel Snap community. You're an icon. you're beloved. Like every time I see like like isn't that like a channels that your viewers watch on YouTube? Like, do you see that? Isn't that somewhere? Is that on Twitch too? But
That is
you're,
somewhere. Yeah. Like
you
your
show
viewers
up.
also watch.
Yeah, you show up all the time. Like I think people vibe with us in a similar space, and like behind the scenes, we get along really well. Like we have the same energy or spirit or something. Like we, whether that's sharing trade secrets or just talking it out. Like we have a good rapport, I guess. So anyway, what I'm saying is I love you, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you,
Buddy, I love you too. You guys heard it here first. Regis loves me. This is my whole dreams. All my dreams are coming true. I told you at the start of this podcast I was your biggest fan, and now here we are. But he's right, actually. This podcast is being recorded so late at night. I'm probably not even going to go to bed tonight after I'm done editing, because we literally started our call with like an hour conversation of us just catching up with one another. And yeah, guys, Regis is an absolute beauty, both on and off the camera. And I just hope we have an opportunity to have you back sometime soon, my man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you to Regis. All his links will be down below. I'm sure he needs no introduction. Download his game. It's going to be there. It's a fantastic one. And we'll see you on that next one.